Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. For those who don't know me, I'm Susan Malloy of Silver Lady Stamping. And today I have a really great card that I want to share with you. One that's simple and clean. And let me show you what it looks like. So it's white on white. Let me see, let me put it so it's not right in my face. White on white, and it's using the medium daisy punch. Which is going to be retiring, I'm sorry to say. So I wanted to keep using it while it's still here because I really like it, and I'm probably going to keep it even after it retires. So I'm going to flip the camera and we'll get started because this card is going to come together really quickly, and I think you're really going to love it. So let me flip the camera, and here's another view of it. Let me move these out of the way, and it's just so simple and clean looking because of the fact that it's white on white. So I'm just going to set it aside and I'll explain the process. So I took a piece of a basic white cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And I embossed the front of it with the time-worn embossing folder. This is being carried over into the 2023 catalog. I am so happy about that. So I have already embossed it, as you can see. But let me just tell you, because of the fact that I embossed it directly on the folded card, let me just tell you how I did it. So let's see, let me open it up. All right, so what I did was I just took my so here's the front where it says Stampin' Up. That's the front, and for this particular one it matters because there is writing on this that's not always very visible, but it is there. You'll be able to see some of the words. So if you want the words to be going in the right direction and be readable, so go with the where it says Stampin' Up. That's the top. So take your folded card. All right, here's your folded card, and just open it up so that the front is on your right, and just place it in the folder. Now, don't place it too far in because you don't need to be embossing the back of the card. So just there's a very small edge where you'll get no embossing. So when you place it into the embossing folder, just kind of try to line up the score mark just to the right of that blank spot. Now, I'm not going to do the embossing because I've already done it, but when you have it in what you think is the right spot, then close the top. Now, we are normally told that we should put the folded edge of the embossing folder into the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine first. So that's how you should do it. But you have this piece here. Now, I don't want to fold it over because I have part of it inside. So I turned it and I put it in this way. It doesn't mean that it's an absolute no-no to put it that way. It's typically better when you put the folded side inside your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine because that's the rollers, the ones that go pop, and it sounds like it's breaking it, but the rollers go over the folded edge easier. And that's why they tell you that. But if occasionally you have to turn it because that's how you need to emboss it, then that's what you do. So that's how I did it. And you'll end up with a very nicely embossed front of your card. And I got a tiny bit on the back, but that's perfectly okay. So that is the front of the card. Now, we're not going to put a typical second layer on it because what I did was to use the Fabulous Frames. Let me get that. Fabulous Frames dies. Right. And this is what, these are the this is what the frames look like. Now, this frame was a little too big for my taste for this particular card. So we're using this one. And I have already die cut that piece. And this is what it ends up looking like. And it's so lovely. And so you can see that's what I did on the card. So that is going to go right in the center. I'll tack it down in a minute. Then for the leaves, I used True Beauty stamp set, but I didn't stamp it. I tried stamping it. I didn't much care for stamping it and then die cutting it. So I merely used the dies, and I used this die right here. And I had been looking through my stamp sets to see if I had some leaves that might be appropriate for the daisy. And the closest I could come really was the True Beauty dies, called Organic Beauty dies. So what I did was I already die cut it, and I die cut it from Garden Green cardstock. You can use Old Olive. I did that at first, but honestly, I didn't much care for the Old Olive. I love Old Olive, don't get me wrong, I love it. But I didn't much care for it in this case, so I used Garden Green instead. So what I want to also do is to score the leaves just using an embossing stylus. Okay, so this stylus, I just bought this at the dollar store. Now, if you have a take your pick tool, and I do, but I don't feel like digging it out. The take your pick tool has a stylus on it, a large one and a small one as well. So on my card, I'll show you, I scored right down the center of the leaves this way, and then you probably can't see, I scored a few veins as well, and then I pinched the leaves just to make them pop a little. So all I really did was freehand it. You could put it into your paper trimmer and score it, but honestly, this is just, I'm just taking my scoring tool, and I'm taking the small end and just scoring right down the center. And then I'm going to just do this, score a couple of veins in between. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Score it right down the center as best you can. Doesn't have to be perfectly in the center. And I'll score a few more veins as well. Okay, and that's it. And then just pinch the score line, pinch it a little bit, and just fold it, just to get it to stand up a little bit when you tack it down. Like that. And let me move this out of the way. And then we will be putting it onto the card as we did with this one. We'll just be tacking it down like that, and it'll just pop up very nicely. So for the daisies, I have, as I said, the medium daisy punch, and we're just going to punch 2 daisies. That's it. That's all we need. This is what makes the project so easy. If you have a punch, that's all you need. You don't have to die cut. So I'm going to put them together by using the mini glue dots. So easy to use. Just put one of them right on top of a mini glue dot, press it in place, and then you'll put the daisies together. Put them together so that the petals are in between each other. And there we have that. And then just use your thumbnail to go along the petals and make them curl a little bit, or you can use your scissors. So it makes them curl a little bit. So you can see it's curled slightly. So now we can actually start putting this together, and then once we do that, we'll do our sentiment. Move those out of the way. So I'm going to, actually I need some mini dimensionals. Let me get those out. So we're going to just center that, and I'm going to use some mini dimensionals, but I'm only going to use them on the top and the bottom. In those, just on this part, and then on the other part, on the other end. So I'll put one on each end, and then I'm going to put two in the middle. And it just kind of, because of the fact that this is a white on white, making it pop up a little bit gives it some visual interest rather than appearing just as a flat image. Oh, let me see if I can get that. Okay. I like the clean, easy look of white on white. Okay, that's all we need for that. Then I'll take the backing off. Oops, that went flying. And one more. There we go. Now you're just going to place it just in the center. And we will just, I'm going to use just some liquid glue just along the stem. I'm not, oh wait, you know what? Before I do that, hold on. Going one step ahead. You may notice, all right, so this one has the leaf down here. This one has the leaf up there, and that's because I said when I started to do it, I just felt like the leaf was too far up and it was in the way, and I didn't care for it. So I decided, so what you'll do is once you take it, once you die cut your leaf, either before or after scoring it, it doesn't matter. Just take your paper snips and just snip right along the edge, just along where the stem is, just like that. And then you can just put a tiny bit of glue on the very edge where you just cut it, just a small amount, right? Just a small amount. And then put it where you put the stem over it, where you want it to go. So I think I'm just going to do that, and then just hold it in place for a second, just long enough for the glue to stick. And there you have your leaf. Well, that's where I wanted the leaf. Now you may decide you're fine where the leaf was, but if you're not, if you're like me and you decided you didn't want the leaf way up tall, then just snip it off, put it down on the bottom. That's as simple as that. So now I'm going to just put some liquid glue along the stem. I'm not going to put any on the leaves because I want the leaves just to be, I don't want to tack them down. I want them to be popped up. And I want the stem to be somewhat standing up. So when you're putting it on, now you have to be mindful of where you want your daisy. Okay, so I'm just going to put it right there. And I'm going to give these another fold because I've been manhandling it a little bit and they flattened out. Now you have your, I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of this, but I just want to decide where I want this to go. All right, So I'm just going to use a regular size dimensional on the back. Okay. Again, just decide where you want your daisy to go. Just press it in place a little bit. Perfect. Now for the center, I'm using the Glossy Dots assortment. I'm going to use one of the larger ones. You can cut a small piece of cardstock if you prefer. I just like the yellow. Put that in the center. Now I cut a piece of basic white for the sentiment label, and let's see, let me just measure it because now I've forgotten what the measurement was. So this is 3.5, measures 3.5 inches long, and it measures a 1/2 inch wide. And this, by the way, is the niftiest. I don't know if you guys need a ruler. I got it on Amazon. It's made by Victor, a company called Victor, I guess. But it has all of the 1/8 measurements. So no more questioning, no more guessing, no more counting the lines. You just says it right there. Just wanted to give you that tip. Just go onto Amazon, look for a Victor ruler. So I'm going to use the Just Because, oops, hold on, let me bring it into the camera. Just because I just want to stick with this True Beauty and not be jumping around to different stamp sets. And so if you're looking to just keep things simple, then this is the way we'll do it. Okay, and I'm just going to use black ink. I mean, you could use green if you wanted to keep with the theme, but I just decided let's just do it on black with black ink. And I'm going to just do it in the center as best I can because I don't want to get my head in the camera. Okay, it's good enough. Now, for this one, I have it flagged, and the best way, the easiest way to get that done, you have two ways you can do it. You can just use your scissors, snip up the middle, and then snip on either side, and that'll give you a flag. But we also have, oh gosh, now I don't have the name of it. Figures, right? I'll tell you in a second. Hold on. I got it. I didn't mean to keep you waiting. It's called the Banners Pick-a-Punch. I didn't want to not be able to tell you what it was, so we're going to give it a flag. And because of the fact that this is a 1/2 inch, it's going to fit right in here into the trough. Well, famous last words. Let's hope that that's what happens. And I can get a centered, whoop, come on. Yeah, it's centered, so I measured right. And we'll do the same thing with the other side. So this kind of takes all the guessing out of flagging if you're not comfortable, if you're new at it and you don't, you know, but you like being able to flag. Whew, here we go. You like to be able to flag your sentiment labels. This is an easy way to do it. Like I said, it's called the Banners Pick-a-Punch. Let me see. Did I put, yes, I did. I put dimensionals on this one as well. Okay, let's just put a few dimensionals. I'm just going to put 3. Three dimensionals. Let me bring my And you can do it straight across. I'm just going to do it the way I did with this one, which is just to do it across like that. And there it is. So on the inside, I said, "You're a true friend." And then I also stamped the flower from True Beauty on the inside. So we can do that. And I'm going to use this flower, and I said, what was it? What did I say on the inside? It was "Your true friend." This one right here. Okay, I'm going to do it again I'm going to stamp the sentiment in black ink. And I need a different block, a larger block. And I'm going to use Daffodil Delight for the flower. And I'm just going to put that just right down here. Just something light, just with a little bit of a wash of color for the inside of your card. Now we'll tack it down. Almost at the finish line. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it over and give it a little bit of a back rub. And there we have the inside. And you still have on this side a little bit of the reverse side of the embossing folder. So this is our simple design, a great design, very clean. You could use this design, I think, as well for a Mother's Day card, but I don't have a Mother's Day sentiment that I could put on it, except I do have to say that let's see, I've been working with the Hydrangea Haven. This, I might use this, even though this is retiring. It has a sentiment that says, "To an incredible woman, you are capable of amazing things. I appreciate all the little things you do. The world is better because of you." This might be the sentiments I end up using for some Mother's Day cards, even though this one is going to be going away. So I hope that you enjoyed what I showed you today, and that you take the time to maybe make one of these yourself. So if you like my content, then I suggest that you subscribe to my channel if you would, and click on the bell to be notified when I upload new content. And I will put additional information in the description below. I will link it to my blog where I will have additional information. I will have a link for the supplies. So thank you again, and I hope you will tune in again, because I'm already preparing my next card, and I appreciate you joining me. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.